Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about selecting other objects, faces, and lines. And what I'm really talking about is a couple of tools that are available right off your right mouse click. See that right there? The thing with the little yellow and green with the arrow on it? That's the Select Other tool. Clicking this will allow you to select faces, then objects, that are normally hidden from your point of view. Now, that's a pretty common tool and it's in a lot of different CAD programs. But if you don't use it, you kind of forget about it, and it's not something that's normal in your workflow. But if it becomes normal in your workflow, it can save you a lot of time and a lot of steps. Or if you're new, you might be thinking, wow, how do I use that? So, let's say here I have a weldment, and inside this square tube here is a pipe. So if I come over here and I hide that object, you'll see that it has a pipe. And I want to make a couple of holes for that pipe to come inside my square tube and to exit it. Now normally I could probably do an extrude cut, or I can use the hole command or hole wizard, but today I want to use the split command. So actually I'm going to go in here, I'm going to insert features, and I'm going to come down to split. Now you notice what is my trimming tools. I want to use the face or the surface that is the outside of this pipe. Now to get there, well, normally I'd have to come over here and I have to change transparency. And we got to come back and we got to go back into split, pick the face here, and then pick what body I want to remove. But there's an easier way to do that. I don't have to come and change my transparency. So let's go back into my feature here. And if I right click where I want to click basically, but I can't see it, I'm going to use the select other. Now it allows me to mouse over different faces and, well, bodies, but there's no bodies in this case. Or I could come over here if there's really complex and I can't get to what I want. Just use this little window. But right here I could just click on it. And then I'm going to click on the face I want to remove down here. And bingo! So, normally, that would take me, I don't know, an extra 2 clicks where I'd have to come in here. If I forgot it, I'd have to come back. So it's one of those pretty simple things that isn't too terribly complex, but if you incorporate it in your workflow, it can save you a lot of clicks down the line. Alright, well that's a fair example of how you might be able to incorporate the select other tool into your workflow as far as modeling goes, but you'll probably end up using select other most of the time when you're doing like an assembly or something like that, and you want to do a couple constraints to faces that you actually can't see. So in this case I kind of got my simple pulley assembly open, and let's just give a real simple example here. I'm just holding control and I'm dragging this part off. That allows me to create another instance of the same part within my assembly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use mate here, and I can click both these faces real easy. But let's see if I can mate these things together without moving my camera, which normally, unless you have a 3D mouse, you'd have to hold control and move around, or click the middle mouse and move that. But let's use the select other face. I want to mate the top of this keyway to the top of this keyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do select other, and I'll click that face. Now I'm going to go select other, and what do I want to use? Well, it looks like I got the keyway, and in this case, see that face there? This is a pretty good example where the this little window over here allows you to really just fine-tune what you're looking at. That face is on the key itself, but I wanted to use the one on the pulley, and that's in the same spot. So there we go. And now those will no longer spin freely. Let's see here real quick. I'm going to click on this face. Now I want to click select other. I want to use that face. Ta-da! So now those two pulleys are together just how I wanted them, and I didn't have to move the camera at all. Alright, so that's how you select other faces and objects. But I did say that you could select other lines. But I did put this off to the end because I want to tie it in with selecting loops and chains, which are also available off the right mouse click. And I think they're kind of, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone kind of deal. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to show you an example that indeed you can select other lines. Maybe you're doing a 3D sketch and you're trying to constrain the ends of the lines, or you have some sort of reason where you need to select another line that you can't get when you mouse over. So in this case, I'm trying to go for this little guy, but I can't. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to say select other, and that line's available right there. But what about loops and chains? Well, in this case, I want to make a flange on the end of this face. So I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm going to make it right on this face here of my square tube. Now normally, I want to convert my lines here, because I already want to take the geometry that comes from this square tube. So normally I'd hold Control and select all around this. But what I can do is I can right click and I can say select loop. Now it's going to give me an option. Do I want to select on this side of the line, or do I want to go on the other side of the line? Well, no, I want to go on that side. Now I'm going to do that. I'm going to say convert entities. Now I've taken that geometry from the square tube and I already have a line. Now I want to take this and I want to do an offset. So how do I do this? Well, I already have a line, so now I can right click on this and I can say select chain. So that's going to pick all the endpoints basically of the sketches that connect. So if you have a square, it's going to pick the whole square. Or if you have a maybe you have a slot with a couple radiuses and lines, it's going to pick the entire thing. Basically the chain of lines from end to end, as long as it all connects. So in this case, I've done a right click and I've done a select chain, and I'm going to offset the stuff here. And I'm going to say I want to go an inch. I want to make an inch flange, and I'm going to create that, and then we'll just do it a little extrude here, 1/4 inches. So that's a couple of ways to save you time when it comes to selecting multiple lines, chains, loops, stuff like that. For example, right click, loop. No, I don't want that side. I want that. Very cool, convert entities. It's just an easy way, a couple of right clicks that can increase your workflow. Or if you're new and you're looking to see, well, how do I do that? Now you know.